the committee on, for sure? The first order of business is to read the Open Public Meetings Act notice. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, the notice of this meeting has been duly posted at elections.nj.gov and in the Office of the Division of Elections, and a copy has been filed with the Secretary of State. Okay, we do have some element of public comment today. I just wanted to let anybody know that's listening that the duties and responsibilities of this committee are limited. We are tasked with examining the voting machine systems placed before us and considering whether or not they satisfy the statutory requirements of Title 19. That is it. We report our findings to the Secretary of State, and upon her approval, these voting machine systems are certified such that they may be purchased by the counties, should they be so inclined. We do not have any authority beyond that. So that's just for the public to know. Okay, let's do introductions.
I'm Ben Swartz. I'm from Election Systems and Software.
Okay, I'm Marissa Roberts, Committee Chair, Title 19 Voting Machine Examination Committee. Sam Rod.
Dan Sawagid, Engineering Manager for Division of Game Enforcement.
And Rod Rickenbach, Cybersecurity and Analytics Manager for Division of Gaming Enforcement for State of New Jersey.
Donna Barber, New Jersey Division of Elections.
Jillian Barbie, New Jersey Division of Elections.
Dawn Schilling, Division of Elections. Brittany Jim Poland, Division of Elections.
Okay, I'd like to place on the record a copy of the agenda for this hearing and the Open Public Meetings Act notice, as well as the Pro V&V test report that was provided to the committee by ES&S prior to this hearing. Okay, so we'll now move on to the demonstration.
Morning. Today we're here. We have a series of modifications as well as election management updates. It's across the board for every product that we have here certified in New Jersey. And we also added the DS950, which is a new central scanner. We had several performance enhancements on our election management system that we'll walk through each one of those. This release was EAC certified at the end of December for BBSG 1.0 compliance. Product overview. Over here, we have the duo of the DS200 and the Express Vote. How this works is you insert the card into the Express Vote, prints out a summary, and then for tabulation, you insert it into the DS200. In the middle here, we have our XL. It's widely used here in New Jersey. It's a full face ballot. So once you insert the card, your full ballot is displayed on the actual screen. You make your selections, it prints out the card. Before you cast it, it'll stop here in the window where you can confirm your selections, and then you hit cast to cast your votes. The new product is the 950. The 950 this shares the same firmware as the previously certified 450 and 850. As you can see, it has the same S curve, it has the same sorting capabilities. The only difference is we updated some of the internal components. Same specifications, we still have a 1 terabyte hard drive. All that internal components, they've just been updated to newer models of components. The middle one there is the 850. This has been used in New Jersey since I think around 2013 in Bergen. And then 450, that is also widely used here in New Jersey. The difference between all of these central scans is the 850 and the 950. They process about 300 to 320 ballots per minute. These are going to be your workhorses. These are for heavy mail-in counties. Anybody over maybe that 30,000 ballot threshold, you'll want to use the 850 or 950. The 450 is for smaller jurisdictions. It processes about 90 ballots per minute. You know, that's generally used or reserved for people or counties that have less than 10,000 maybe mail-in ballots or absentee ballots. So start with the XL. You want to move to the 950? Sure. So our new product is the 950. As I stated, the new components, the internal components, have all been upgraded just to the newer models of those components. A nice little feature here is we have auto adjust mechanisms up here. So the pick mechanisms, which is this little guy right here, this auto adjusts now. Previously with the 450 and the 850, you had to manually adjust those. So it was kind of a touchy, a county couldn't really do it by themselves. Now it's just automated. It's a lot easier, a lot faster. Like I said, it shares the same firmware as 450 to 850. No need to retrain your boarders. It has the same menu structure. Scanning election reports are the same. How you upgrade is the same. We have a dedicated UPS and then a dedicated report printer as well. Any questions about the 950? I kind of went over that a little bit fast. It shares the same firmware, so
Yeah.
I think you guys have seen it, but you haven't seen it type of thing. But I'll open it up to any questions that maybe Sam or Rod have.
Sam, Rod?
Yeah, I don't have any questions right now.
Okay.
I'm good.
Excel. This is a modification that we're requesting approval of today. What we did is we added some Arial narrow fonts. I think that I brought a card.
Excuse me, Don, is there any way you could zoom in on that screen? It's like the way it's, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, it's all white, it's washed out. All we see is really a lot of white. I don't know if that's possible to zoom in on that screen.
Presentation screen.
Are
Yes.
you able to move it closer to us? Maybe that'll resolve the issues. Even if we block the equipment, if we're not using.
Better or worse? Worse. Well.
Yeah.
It could.
Here.
Have this presentation, and you could send it electronically. We could take a 5-minute intermission and
Sure.
send this to the 2 committee members.
Yep.
So we're gonna take a 5-minute intermission to do that. If we get it done quicker, we'll come right back.
Great. Thanks, guys. Actually, it looked like we could see it better when you were projecting it on the wall versus the screen. The screen was almost too reflective and picking up in a lot of extra light.
All right, I'll try moving the screen here. Once again.
Okay, we're back live. We are now sharing the projector screen from ES&S with all the viewers, including the remote committee members.
Yeah,
Just for
you can see
clarity.
it fine. Thank you.
You're
I
on.
don't see the PowerPoint in the mail. Thank you for that.
So we'll pick it back up on the Excel. We added some font options. We can do arrow narrow on the actual card printout itself. You can actually decide between font size 4 and 13 on your card now as well. This was a Union County, I believe, request. We have the ability to add color now to the title bar. They wanted this primarily for the primary, where you have red for Republican, blue for Democrat. Another Union County request is the ability to remove blank party columns. As you can see in this example, we have 3 columns with nonpartisan. They want us to get rid of that and just have the dim and the red, and then have a nonpartisan section later where it would just show the nonpartisan candidates there. On the Excel, there is a 1/2 inch margin all the way around this dead space. So if you have your contest, bleed into that 1/2 inch and somebody would happen to touch that, it would be dead space and they would not be able to make a selection. Now we added that automatically in the image manager portion of our election management system. So it brings in those contests now. So when you get to the Excel, all your whole ballot will fit on the Excel. Multi-column option. This is for like vote for 2, maybe if you had a vote for 15. Previous layout, and this is a valid layout as well. You could have the option to add in columns for your selections. Otherwise, let's just say you have a vote for 15, you're going to have 15 candidates listed underneath that contest. It would be nice to only have 5 lines split into 3 columns. Just an option. We added some risk limiting audit features into this release. On the card itself, this is optional as well. You do not have to do this, but it adds in a audit number, and this audit number then can be tracked in the EMS or exported out for like a third-party tool where you could do your risk limiting audits. Up at the top, is this my camera? Up at the top, you have this audit number. So here's your ballot selections and then your audit number. The first 3 or 5 digits is generally, you can define this whatever you want, but it's generally what the Excel serial number would be, the last 5 digits of that. And then this code here at the 5 last digits then are a random number. That's it for Excel. On the 450 and 850, the enhancement that we made there is we have batch level reporting now, which is huge. In New Jersey, the way they have been doing their risk limiting audits, has been by batch level. So we would have to, for example, scan a batch, delete the batch, print out the results, scan again, and it just kind of was more overhead than what was necessary. Now we just have the ability to print a batch results. So that's a huge feature here in New Jersey. On the DS200, it's our precinct scanner. The write-in review report now excludes contests that no write-in votes were casted. In the previous release, it printed all the contests, and then we have something to the effect, no write-ins cast. Now we just exclude the contest. It's really invalid. It adds no value by saying no contest, no write-in votes for this contest. Another neat feature, optional feature, at the end of the DS200 results report, we have the ability to do a hash value now. So this hash value here, this is my results report that I printed out last night when I was doing some testing. It comes with the barcode as well as a hash value right here. That hash value, then once you feed that USB, so you close polls on DS200, you take out the USB, you drive the USB into Election Central, where they aggregate it into the election management system. You have the ability to look up this hash value to make sure that what you got or what was on that USB did not change from the time it was driven into, Election Central. Optional feature, but kind of a nice feature to add or enable. We did several performance enhancements on the DS200. The majority of it has been done in the loading process. In the past, what
Just
we've done,
before, I'm sorry, before you move forward, can you just go back to the last one, the last
Sure.
page? Okay, the hash validation code. I know it's an option, that it's an optional, I guess. It's an optional configuration, but is there a reason why you guys did this? I mean, was it ever needed in any way?
no, just enhanced security. In the world that we live in, a lot of people are asking for hash validations of things.
Okay,
So this is our response to that to kind of help alleviate some of these counties from those public requests.
so it's not based on like a bat file that you guys needed to hash now just to make sure it's all good?
Yep. It's just another auditing tool, more or less.
Now, I'm asking you if anything happened in the past and there's a reason for this update.
No.
Okay, all right, that's it. Thank you.
So back on the DS200, and during the election load process, the XML that we were loading contained all contests throughout the election, and then the DS200 would filter out the certain aspects. So if you had, let's just say Precinct 1, it would filter out from the whole list of contests what it needed from Precinct 1. Now it just loads Precinct 1. It doesn't load the whole election and then filter out. It just loads literally Precinct 1 or 2 or whatever you have to have. The DS200, we saved time on the close time by encrypting and digitally signed every ballot that was scanned. In the previous release, what we did is we digitally signed. So you'd insert your ballot, we would digitally sign it. And then at the end of the day, we would encrypt and digitally sign the entire bundle. Now we're encrypting and digitally sign each ballot that goes through. So then at the end of the night, it's less digital signing encryption at the end. So we brought that closing time down considerably. You can see my numbers there. We improved by at least 25% in a lot of these categories. You guys are this hardware revision 1.2 was one of our first DS200. So they are out in the field. They're just not here in New Jersey. On the express vote, so again, the express vote, the ballot marking device in this release, you insert your card, the ballot's presented to you, and then you make your selections, and then the card is printed out with your selections on it. We updated the screens, so we can have up to 4 columns here. Generally, I would say stay in that 2 to 3. Once you get to 4, some things just kind of start getting crunched. We have the ability to bold now. It's amazing what we can do on the express vote. You can actually have the paper ballots and the express vote screen look exactly the same. We can add images on there. We can add signatures if you wanted. Some people have board member type signatures that we add onto the screen. So much improvement. In the previous release, it was a paginated view. So you only had 1 contest per page that you have to go through. Continuing on in express vote, we added these X's here for the express vote. Each one of these barcodes are a selection that correlates to the mobile position on the paper ballot. So each selection that you make on the express vote, it generates barcode. So there was this white space in the previous release. We decided that let's not have white space on there. So let's put some back there. The next enhancement that we did, and we did this on the XL, probably almost 2 years ago now, I think. We added party selection barcodes for activation for primary. That eliminates the reuse or we could reuse. It eliminates waste the express vote cards. These are just activation cards, party code. Same as the XL, we added the RLA audit number onto the printed card. Again, that audit number then could be looked up in the election management system, as well as exported out, for any type of third-party tools. Last but not least, on the election management system, we updated the Windows to Windows 10 Server 2016, and the previous release was a Windows 7 based system. We did a slew of election work performance enhancements, in particular the finalization of touchscreen. That was kind of a pain point here in New Jersey. It just took a long time. It was our first, our first time doing it, so it just took a long time to finalize. So we brought those numbers down considerably. We also supported USB 3.0 flash drives in this release system-wide. Then we also introduction of Amuni and Sumatra PDF reader and PDF converter, excuse me. The benefit there is no more Adobe licenses, which adds value there for the counties. Another thing with your PDF generation, with Adobe, you'd have to define the page size, you'd have to set your margins, etc. It was just kind of a pain to generate even a PDF of your ballot. With these two products, you just hit print and it just prints out the right size. It's fantastic. The audio files. Previously, we used WAV format. You can still use WAV format. There's nothing preventing you from doing so. Our toolbox will generate OGG files. And what that does is it just eliminates some of the overhead that we would see with the audio files, some of the WAV files, especially when you got into the referendums. If you had a long referendum, that file would be really big. So this OGG may cut it into half. So again, speeding up that load time, but it will not degrade your audio value. You still have the same audio value, quality that you would with WAV file. It's just smaller in size. Another key feature, page statistics. If you happen to have a multi-page, two-page ballot, now in an election where we're able to generate a report, say how many ballots cast were specifically for page 2 and 3, 4, 5, whatever you happen to have. Another neat feature. And that was 950. That's it for enhancements. Any questions at all?
Not from my end. Maybe we've seen most of this before.
Sam or Rod, did you have any questions at all?
I do not.
I'm good, thank you.
I'll pass over to you. Do you want to go through the requirements then, or?
What I really want to do is just for,
Vote.
the sake of being clear on the fact that the 6200 version, we did not previously certify the direct predecessor to that. I just want you to do maybe a run through of what we've done in the past with sample voting, pretend to do an overvote, pretend to do an undervote,
Sure.
print something through or scan through the 950, show how that appears on the screen,
Sure.
just for belt and suspenders.
I'll start with the XL. So the XL, we generally have an electronic book or a check-in area. With the XL, you'll be presented two cards, or one of two cards, I guess, a blank card or one that has an activation already printed on it. With the blank card, you insert the card, and you'd have to select whatever precincts that you would be voting for. Generally, in New Jersey, we have the poll book, so it'll print this activation card, header information on it. Advance over to the XL, insert your card. Here's our instruction screen. It says to vote for a candidate, touch the person's name. To vote for someone not on the ballot, write in. Follow on-screen instructions to cast your ballot. Stay at the booth until you see the thank you screen. To change the screen display or language, touch the buttons in the upper right corner of the I should have noted, we have a privacy screen that hooks into these right here. This is a huge curtain that comes back here like this. So you're in this little cocoon, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Text size, that just makes it, larger contrast. Makes it black and white, full color. Anytime when you start voting, we can hit help, and it takes you back to the help screen. Make your selections, you literally just touch them. If I wanted to overvote, doesn't allow you to overvote, it just advances to that contest or that candidate, excuse me, in a vote for two situation. It says too many selections. You have already made the maximum number of selections allowed for this contest. To make a new selection, first deselect one of your current choices. To return to voting, touch return to ballot.
Is there a way to maybe pull that a little bit closer? See if we could see it on the screen.
Sure.
See if maybe getting a little bit closer, it's a little less blurry.
Maybe try something down a little bit.
What does it look like with the contrast in black and white? Is that easier or? Yeah.
It's better.
I honestly can't see anything, so
You can't see anything?
no. I don't know if it's better on your side or on me.
Nah, it's hard with the contrast.
Harder with the contrast?
Ugh.
Once you've made your selections, you press print ballot. Additional choices were available in the common council race. You can cast your ballot now or return to the ballot to make more selections. We'll continue and cast. Print ballot, you cannot change your vote selections after printing your ballot. To continue and print your ballot, touch print. To return to the ballot, touch return to ballot. Return to ballot, print, we'll hit print. Print your card and it'll park. To show you what you have selected. If you're okay with this, you hit cast. I'll read the screen, cast ballot, review your ballot through the window to the right. To cast your ballot as printed, touch cast. To quit voting and request a new ballot, touch quit. Your ballot will not be cast. We'll hit cast. And it drops into the secure bin. On the express vote, very similar process. You check in, you get your activation card, you insert the card into the express vote. Same options exist on the express vote itself. Text size, display, help, quit, instructions. To vote for a candidate, touch the person's name. To vote for someone on the ballot, someone not on the ballot, excuse me, touch write in. Follow on-screen instructions to cast your ballot. stay at the booth until you see the thank you screen. To change the screen display or language, touch the buttons in the upper right corner of the screen. So we'll hit start voting.
What we show an example of it right in.
Yes. Yep. So again, previously what you guys have seen is the express vote only did one contest at a time. So on this screen, you would only see president, then you would have to hit next, and then you would go to US House of Representatives. This particular screen, as well as the XL, we can do up to 72-point font. You would never use 72-point font, but the option there exists. So we'll make a couple selections here. Let's do a write-in for county clerk. Write-in screen. We got write-in, county clerk. Use the keyboard to enter your write-in selection. Once you're done, hit accept. You'll see write-in me. To advance to the next page, hit next. Continue to make your selections. If you can't overvote on the express vote. Too many selections. You have already made the maximum number of selections allowed for this contest. To make a new selection, first deselect one of your current choices. To return to voting, touch return to ballot. We'll hit return to ballot. Last step of the process. Sorry, this was an undervote. Additional choices available. Additional votes are available to the contest listed below, Common Council. You can continue or return to the ballot to make more selections. We'll continue to the summary screen. Before you hit print, it gives you a summary screen. At this point, you could make a change. Let's say we don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. We want to vote for Bernie Sanders. We just simply select Bernie Sanders. You can see Bernie Sanders. Verify your selections. Final step is to print ballot. It'll prompt you one more time. Additional choices available. Additional choices available in the contest listed below, Common Council. You can print your selections now or return to the ballot to make more selections. We'll hit continue and print. Print ballot. You cannot change your vote selections after printing your ballot. To continue and print your ballot, touch print. To return to the ballot, touch return to ballot. We'll go ahead and print. It's out a summary card. Then at this point, you would take this summary card over to the my precinct scanner and insert it into the data there. Again, the 200 can go in any orientation, so up, down, whatever orientation you like. Generally, they go down because you have like little privacy sleeves, so they kind of stick out like that. Thank you for voting. Your ballot has been counted. We're ready for the next order. Here's your menu structure. So you got scanning, election, reports, system, hardware. Scanning is where you scan ballots. If you happen to have some type of ballot jam and you want to get clear transport function, that just kind of gets the wheels moving again. On the election, this is where you do your configuration. You want to make any type of configuration changes, such as bin sorting. Generally, the bin sorts, the top is reserved for any type of on-process ballots. This could be like an image unreadable or votes, undervotes, etc. The middle is generally reserved for write-ins, and then the bottom would be for any other election ballot. Batch bin reporting. Every time you hit save, a batch bin report could be printed. What that batch bin report says is, you've read 50 ballots from precinct 1, they will all went to the bottom bin. And then it would give you a report of why it went to the top bin, why it went to the middle bin, or why it went to the bottom bin. And then you'd just have an aggregated count there. Results access, that's how we lock out. Let's say closed polls is not till 8. If you want, you did all your scanning, but you don't want anybody to print a results report, we have the ability to lock out the scanner, so you can't print or review the results the results until 8 o'clock. Precinct labels is generally for like New York, where they have election districts. Their precincts are called election districts. So they want to see on their reports, instead of precinct, they want to see election district. Ballot images, that's to save or not to save. Network configuration. Each one of the central scans can be connected to a closed network where you can export the results as well as the ballot images from the 850 or from any of the central scanners. Multi-feed stop, by default, it's always on. Sometimes, in the thick of things, we generally just keep it on. I don't really know why there's an option to disable it, but there is. Write-in detection. Write-in detection is another feature that allows, if you write in for the write-in space, but you did not fill in the oval, it would aggregate or count that as a valid write-in vote. Those are options. To my knowledge, these are not used at all here. Results, this is how you export your results. So export audit log, clear, etc. Any type of reports, we have a zero report, results report, batch bin report, precincts process report. Precincts process report this is generally helpful at the end of the day when you're done scanning. You can print out this this precincts process result for precinct process report, and it'll give you a total number of ballots cast for that precinct. Then you can take that report, look at your VR data on who checked in, or and you can just kind of do a spot check, I guess, if your numbers are correct. System readiness report. System readiness report is what it shows you like your firmware version, time, date, election that's loaded, certain hardware type of configuration. Ballot style counts report. Ballot style counts report is, it generally kind of goes with the precincts process report. But if you have a by style election, it will show you the aggregated number of ballots, per style. Ballot statistics report, and then batch reports. System, set date time. This is your firmware. It just shows you a list of what your firmware versions are. The machine options, machine identifier. If you have multiple central scans in one place, it's nice to label 1A, 1B, so that you know which results report, let's say, came from which scanner. Again, and then here's our user access. So you can define who gets into the system and who doesn't. Last but not least, hardware, screen calibration, runs you through that process. Printers, this is kind of just to do a test print to make sure that your printers are working. Image capture and transport, these are used by our field techs. They just allow certain functions to go through their checks that they need to do. So we'll go ahead and scan. I have a deck of 156. These little features that you may see or not see, but we have these LEDs on the front. You'll notice it turning from red and green. Let's say you had a ballot jam. It shows exactly where that ballot is. So if you happen to have a ballot jam, and there's a red dot here, anything beyond in this S curve has not been counted yet. So you know exactly what you need to count. Stacks. On screen, we have this little preview. Review box unclear. So it looks like my ballots are getting a little dirty. Try to run these again. For you people on the phone, we have review boxes. These are how we do provisional votes. So if the box is filled in, that means that ballot cannot be counted until somebody says, yep, this is a valid vote or valid ballot. We have that across the board. You guys saw that last time. The top end is what is not processed. We rescan. We have a total of 156. Last process here is to save. Do you want to save? Yes. Dispatch validated and saved. Go back and scan. That's when you bring in your next batch.
So any further adjudication of those ballots gets done separately with your,
Yep.
separate computer portal software.
Yep. Yep. Or they can be done by like a manual review. Generally, they have like a review board. That's like 3 people, where you would take whatever is on this top bin, hand it to them. Are these true overvotes? Are they true undervotes?
This is doing kind of a partial adjudication.
Yep. Then, if you wanted to, you can hit save and do all your adjudication on the EMS as well. So there's 2 processes that you could do, either a manual review on the spot, or you could just export it all and do it there later down the road like this.
So from a software perspective, is there a difference between the 450, the 850 and the 950?
No, there is not.
So it's the same exact machines, just a faster processor and I guess that's it, basically, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions at all?
Not from my end. Sam and Rod?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Scanning on 450.
No, I don't think it's necessary because we've seen them already. I'm more concerned with what's actually new so that we can go through the votes, the statutes and make sure we checked all our boxes. I mean, the software is it's an update from what we've seen before, but we technically haven't seen the direct predecessor. So
Correct.
even though it's overkill, I think we should go through the full statute. You guys, Sam and Rod, do you agree with that?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
I agree.
Well, I think, Rod, I know that you were a big fan of consolidating all the reading of the statutes.
You know it.
What we should do, I believe, is read through once and we'll vote twice on each point. Say yes for both. For example, we'll vote for the EMS 6200 version and the DS 950 together for the full statute. And then for the shorter statute, for the updates to the DS 200, the DS 450, the DS 800, the express vote and the XL, those 5 will vote together for the shorter statute and just read through that once. Are you guys on board with that?
Sure.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, unless anybody else has anything. Ben, you have anything else to
I do not.
demo? Okay, you guys want to go ahead and vote, Sam and Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we just start with the short one? So we're going to vote on Title 1953A-4. This will be for the DS 200, the DS 450, the DS 850, the Express Vote, and the Express Vote XL, which are all improvements over what we've seen and certified before. I'll read the statute and then we'll vote. Statute reads, no voting device shall be used in an election in this state unless in combination with the automatic tabulating equipment used to count and tabulate votes, ballots. It meets the requirement in Section 3 of this act and has been approved by the Secretary of State or other person, agency, or board charged with the examination and approval of voting machines. When such a device has been approved, any improvement or change which does not impair its accuracy, efficiency, or ability to meet such requirements shall not require a reexamination or reapproval thereof. So now for those 5, I say yes.
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 Yes on all 5 from all 3 committee members. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to read through the 2 longer statutes for the new certification of the DS 950, which we just saw, and the overall EMS 6200. I'll read the first statute, the Title 1948-1, requirements for voting machines. Section, any thoroughly tested and reliable voting machines may be adopted, rented, purchased, or used, which shall also be constructed as to fulfill the following requirements. Section A, it shall secure to the voter secrecy in the act of voting. You mentioned that you have those sides that come out and make sort of a ballot box.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So we have a curtain that goes onto the XL, and then on the Express Vote, I brought the Express Vote, we also have like the side panels.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we do have side panels as well as the S100. They're a little corrugated plastic that fits right through here. So they can, easily. Voters secrecy is
Right, okay.
achieved.
And then with the DS 950, voters are not going to that machine, so there's no risk of viewing their ballot there.
Correct.
Okay, so then for Section A, for both the DS 950 and the EMS 6200, I vote yes
Yes.
for both.
Yes.
Okay. Section B, it shall provide facilities for such number of office columns not less than 40 and not exceeding 60 as the purchasing authorities may specify, and of as many political parties or organizations not exceeding 9 as may make nominations, and for or against as many questions not exceeding 30 as submitted. That's part of the software.
Correct. And all of our system limitations are satisfied in those.
Okay, so then for both of those, and that also works together with the DS50.
Correct.
So then, yes, I vote yes for both. Sam and Rob?
Yes.
Yes.
Section C, it shall, except in primary elections, permit the voter to vote for all the candidates of one party or in part for the candidates of one party or one or more parties. Again, part of the software. And that was basically seen in past versions as well.
Yep.
Okay, so then for both, I vote yes.
Yes.
Section D, it shall permit the voter to vote for as many persons for an office as he is lawfully entitled to vote for, but no more. We saw that with the overvote cancellation.
Correct.
So I vote yes.
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 It shall prevent the voter from voting for the same person more than once for the same office. Again, part of the software we've seen, that's a yes.
Yes.
It shall permit the voter to vote for or against any question he may have the right to vote on, but no other. Again, we've seen that in the software before, that's a yes.
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 It shall for use in the primary election be so equipped that the election officials can stop a voter from voting for all candidates except those of the voter's party. Again, we've seen that in the software, that's a yes.
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 Section H, it shall correctly register or record and accurately count all votes cast for any and all persons and for or against any and all questions. Okay, that's a yes.
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 It shall be provided with a protective counter or protective device whereby any operation of the machine before and after the election will be detected. Can you just elaborate on that quickly?
Yeah, so if you can see on the screen, on the 950, we have the 156 total ballot count. On the protected count, it's 200. So the public count here, protected count is right there. The difference is the public count is for this election, how many ballots have been processed. The protected count is more or less your odometer. How many ballots actually went through that base 200. And down here, it's really hard to see, but we have card container count, 1.
Okay. All right, so then that satisfies this section I would say yes.
Yes.
Rod,
Yes, sorry.
I couldn't hear. Section J, so it shall be so equipped with such protective devices as shall prevent the operation of the machine after polls are closed. And now you have several locking devices on these.
And we do have that option. I can show you in the election management system where it doesn't allow you to reopen polls,
Mhm.
but given we're in the examination, I need the ability to reopen those polls.
Mhm.
But yes, we could in our EMS lock out anybody from reopening.
And we've seen that before.
Yes.
So, okay, so I vote yes.
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 Okay. Section K, it shall be provided with a counter which shall show at all times during an election how many persons have voted. We just saw that. That's a yes.
Yes.
Sam, I couldn't hear you.
Yes. I'm sorry.
L, it shall be provided with a model illustrating the manner of voting on the machine suitable for the instruction of voters. We discussed that. They have posters in polling places, and they also have a screen that will come up with instructions beginning before the votes are cast. Okay, so that's a yes.
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 Section N, it must permit a voter to vote for any person for any office except delegates and alternates to national party conventions, whether or not nominated as a candidate by any party or organization by providing an opportunity to indicate such names or name. We've seen that in the software before.
Yep. And this particular election, we had delegate races on there.
Okay, so that's a yes.
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 Section N, it shall be equipped with a permanently affixed box or container of sufficient strength, size, and security to hold all emergency ballots and pre-punched single-hole envelopes, and with a clipboard and a tabletop privacy screen. This is a little bit one of those sections that's outdated, but you do have,
Yep.
the locked, ballot containers and,
Yep.
ability to hold ballots, whether or not they're pre-punched single-hole envelopes. I consider the clipboard probably obsolete at this point, but for purposes of this hearing, I would vote yes.
Yeah, I'll vote yes as well.
Okay, section O. It shall not use the mechanical lever machines or punch cards to record votes. That's a yes.
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 Okay, and the last page. All voting machines used in any election shall be provided with a screen, hood, or curtain, which shall be so made and adjusted as to conceal the voter and his action while voting. We discussed that this is available, so that's a yes.
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 And finally, it shall also be provided with one device for each party for voting for all the presidential electors of that party by one operation, and a ballot therefore containing only the words presidential electors for, preceded by the name of that party, followed by the names of the candidates thereof for the offices of president and vice president, and a registering device therefore which shall register the vote cast for such electors when thus voted collectively. That's part of the software. Okay, so that's a yes.
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 That was 19 48-1. Now we're moving on to 1953A-3. Same deal, DS 950 plus the EMS 6200 for each vote. Okay, this section reads every electronic voting system consisting of a voting device in combination with automatic tabulating equipment acquired or used in accordance with this act shall, section A, provide for voting in secrecy except in the case of voters who have received assistance as provided by law. That's a yes.
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 B, permit each voter to vote at any election for all persons and offices for whom and for which he is lawfully entitled to vote for or against any question upon which he is entitled to vote. And the automatic tabulating equipment shall reject choices recorded on his ballot if the number of choices exceeds the number which he is entitled to vote for the office or on the measure. That's a yes.
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 C, thank you. Permit each voter at presidential elections by one mark to vote for the candidates of that party for president, vice president, and their presidential electors. We discussed that. That's a yes.
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 Almost done, Rod. You hate this part. You know what? Rod's brain works too fast for all the rest of us. So he could read this in 4 seconds and we do it the slow roll way. All right, section D, permit each voter at other than primary elections to vote for the nominees of one or more parties and for independent candidates and personal choice or write-in candidates. We saw that, so it's a yes for both.
Yes.
Yes.
And when I say both, the 950 doesn't do that on its own, but it's, in conjunction with the software. Paragraph E, permit each voter in primary elections to vote for candidates in the party primary in which he is qualified to vote. And the automatic tabulating equipment shall reject any votes cast for candidates of another party. Part of the software, so that's a yes.
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 Section F, prevent the voter from voting for the same person more than once for the same office. That's a yes.
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 Section G, be suitably designed for the purpose use of durable construction and may be used safely, efficiently, and accurately in the conduct of elections and counting ballots. That's a yes.
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 And section H, the last paragraph. When properly operated, record correctly and count accurately every vote cast, including all overvotes or undervotes and all affirmative votes or negative votes on all public questions or referenda. That's a yes.
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 Okay, and that's it for the statutes. So what we will do is I will prepare my reports for the Secretary of State. We will all sign, send her a recommendation, and then if she's so inclined, she will certify you for purchase from the counties.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. You guys have any last comments, Sam and Rod?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm good as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, at this point, we will see if there's anybody who wishes to make any public comments. Couple more seconds. Anybody in the public wants? Can you give me your full name, spelling of your name and your organization?
Yes, hi, Charlie Cradaville here. I'm from New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, a community newspaper here in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Appreciate the presentation and thank you for letting me speak. I did have a question in regards to 19:48A. Where do the paper ballots go after they, after I press my cast vote button? Does that ballot go stay inside the machine in a compartment?
Depends on which machine you're talking about, right?
Yeah. The XL, it has a secure bin in the back. And then
Right, the XL is the one I'm asking about. And so, do those ballots get stored in the order they were cast, or are they randomized in some way?
yeah, they don't fall directly. Here's 200. The blue token down here. They'll just fall in there, right? So they do shuffle up. On the XL. It is secure card container here. When it drops in there as well, it'll shuffle those cards up.
Okay, you're sure that there's some randomization there? It's not putting them in the order that they were cast?
No, they will stack how they get ejected out. So if you have a card that's, up towards the front here, the next card that drops in, it's kind of like a card, like a deck of cards being shuffled. They don't necessarily drop in the same order that they were cast.
Okay. I am a little concerned about some of the processes that go with this equipment, to the extent that ES&S staff are required and their services are needed to operate the machines. For instance, the counters, I guess they're optical scanners. Is that still the case that Middlesex County is going to have to pay ES&S to send someone to our county to operate these pieces of equipment?
I don't know about contractual obligations between Middlesex and ES&S. Right, we're just here to do the examination of the system.
Yeah, that's something that's not relevant to this proceeding, to be quite honest.
Okay, well, my apologies. The reason I bring it up is I'm concerned about a situation that happened in our April 20th, 2021 Board of Education election. I've been in touch with ES&S about this, and on April 30th, they confirmed that there was a human error made, I believe, by one of their employees that ultimately, led to 22 ballots not being counted in the initial count. It took a week and a post-election audit to discover this, and then a USB flash drive had to be tracked down and added to the count. There were only 10 voting machines that day, so I'm a little puzzled how somebody could count 9 voting machines worth of votes and call it a day and certify that to the county. Unfortunately, follow-up questions have gone unanswered since April 30th. I've been trying to reach Katina Granger at ES&S and just haven't gotten any response to multiple inquiries about this. Then in our primary election in June, the ES&S informed the Board of Elections in the middle of the day that they would not be able to have the optical scanners account for different election districts. And so the ballots, the paper ballots, of which there were many, had to be sorted by election district. And the original plan was to sort them by municipality. That took a lot more time, delayed the results. And ultimately, the reason that was given, according to one of the election commissioners here, was that ES&S screwed up their program, and that required additional, people power work to be done by the staff at the Board of Elections. And then, of course, in November, the ES&S poll books repeatedly tried to download data from the SVRS every time a new voter came in, causing major problems, outages. People were not able to vote. People were turned away and had to leave. Widespread disenfranchisement. And here in Middlesex, it was the epicenter of the chaos, where people were giving out emergency ballots and all sorts of, problems ensued from that. I know that the electronic poll books are not on your agenda today, so I appreciate you allowing me to bring it up. And I would just like to give ES&S a chance to talk about any of these problems that have stemmed from their equipment and affected us here in Middlesex County. So that's the April 20th school board election, the June primary, and the November election. Can I just hear any response to those concerns.
Let me just thank you for your comments. We're not going to be responding to those issues today. That's not relevant to this proceeding. We will find out if there's any other way that you can, make your comments to the proper venue, but this is not it for today. So we thank you for your comments.
Okay, still looking for that proper venue, but I appreciate your time today, and thank you for broadcasting the meeting.
No problem. Thank you for being here. Okay, if there's nothing else,
So we got one.
okay.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Herb Tarbus from Piscataway. I have a question. Yeah, I have a question regarding the card that's printed with the in elections that have a vote for 2+. There is an existing movement to move towards ranked choice voting here in New Jersey. And I was wondering if the current system that we're looking at has the ability to rank the multiple candidates rather than just mark which candidate receives a vote.
Yes, it does. The way we do it, we have express runoff. It's a different utility. So we export from the EMS, the ballot images, et cetera, and then we run it through our utility to generate those sets of reports.
So there is the ranking that is maintained, marked on a ballot and maintained, right?
Yes, we can support that if need be.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, can you tell us what's your organization that you're with?
Well, I'm part of Voter Choice New Jersey, which is an organization which is advocating for ranked choice voting here in New Jersey.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, thank you guys for your comments. If that's all, we will then see what other business we have. We have public comments. So if there's nothing else, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Like I said, we will send our reports. It's 11:11. It's time of adjournment. We'll send our reports to the Secretary of State as soon as possible for certification.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.